All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Sky's the Limit. I'm your host, Mike Doherty. Today we have Morgan Ehrenzeller, who is based in Florida. He operates in 9 states. He's got up to about 330 units, all on his own. Very impressive. He's raising private capital. He's refinancing. He's doing a lot of creative deals, low down money deals, and we're going to get into all that today. So, Morgan, welcome. Appreciate your time, and thanks for coming on the show here.
Hey, Mike, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, so take me back to when you first got started in real estate investing. I'd love to hear about what your first deal looked like, and then we'll kind of take it from there.
Yeah, so I kind of got into real estate one accident. In a sense, my entrepreneurial journey began when I was 14. I started a software company. My partner and I were making a boatload of money at the time. We were under 18 years old, and we had third-party financial processors like PayPal, MoneyGram, other third-party processors to process the payments. But the problem was we were under 18, so we weren't technically allowed to have those. So what we do as young entrepreneurs at 15 years old, we pivoted and we found cryptocurrency. So then we got all of our SaaS profits into Bitcoin. Bitcoin at the time was about $30, 30, 40, 50 around that time frame. And in hindsight today, we're pushing, 97,000. So that was a really good move, kind of an accident as well too. So I had all this money. I didn't know what to do with it. So I quickly realized that every rich or wealthy individual I knew was involved in real estate in some way, shape, or form. So at 17, I decided, you know what, I might as well I bought a duplex when seller finance with $5,000 down. And I didn't want to piss away the money. I didn't come from it or anything like that. So I figured I'll buy this duplex at 17. I'll push myself off the cliff and I'll learn my way through it. So that was my first deal at 17, was a duplex, seller finance, $5,000 down.
Wow, amazing. Do you still own that duplex today?
I do. Yep.
Awesome. And what state's that in?
That's in my home state, Pennsylvania.
Oh, what part of Pennsylvania?
So I'm originally from like central PA, in between probably the biggest. I'm a small town of 700, McAllisterville, Pennsylvania. So it's like in between Harrisburg and State College. Everyone's familiar with State College with Penn State University. So it's like pretty centrally located there.
Every year, not to get off track, every year I go to Carlisle, Pennsylvania for like one of the largest car swap meets, and we pass through Harrisburg every time.
Okay. Yeah. Carlisle is probably 50, 55 minutes from my hometown.
Okay. Very good. Very good. That's awesome. So I'd also like to maybe get into, do you still own Bitcoin today?
Yes.
Oh, good for you. I started buying it back in January of last year, around $46,000 a coin, and I've kind of kept that going since. But I mean, if you got in, you must have got in years and years ago, and you've just kind of been accumulating it ever since?
Yeah, I got in at 2011, and then I did crypto mining for a while. So I had like little mini storage warehouses full of like mining for cryptocurrency for cash flow. So I have a pretty strong background. I'm kind of a tech nerd at heart.
Wow, that's amazing. Keep that going, because I certainly think it'll be the wave of the new future. And I think it'll be, not to get off track about real estate, but I think that, like you already see Argentina using it. I think the new administrations are going to fully adopt it. I think that, the U.S. government will start to really like federally use some way of it in some capacity as a currency. And I think it's either kind of get on the train or you're going to be left behind as far as like world leadership goes. So I could be way off in that assumption, but I think there's enough of people talking about it where it'll certainly be something to keep an eye on going forward.
Oh yeah, I mean I've been hearing since 2011 that it's going to zero. So
Yeah.
And I think too, it's going to tie nicely with real estate. Once decentralized finance gets more mainstream and using smart contracts, Then that, essentially would eliminate the need for like title and escrow, things like that. Now you're not going to have to wait 3, 4 weeks to close a property out. It'll all be on the ledger. You could execute it with a smart contract. So I think we will see a tie into real estate here in the future once the centralized finance becomes more mainstream.
Yeah, and you can use, I mean, that's the beauty of it is that you could, say you're a US based investor and you want to go buy a property in Spain or Australia or whatever. It's not like Bitcoin is worldwide, so you can use it to, hopefully in the future you can use it to buy real estate in any part of the world without having to do like a crazy exchange or I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of nuances with it, but yeah, I think it's the wave of the future. So yeah, not to get off track, but I find that stuff very interesting. Um, so you got your first duplex, $5,000 down. Now, what year was that in?
That was in 2015, 16, around there.
Okay, all right. So you've been investing for about 10 years now, 9, 10 years, and um, how are you? So you have 330 units now, all your own units, which is super impressive. I interview a lot of guys who are raising capital, but more so doing syndications, and they have, three, four, 500 units, but they have a small piece of equity in those units. So I think it's way more impressive personally to have, three, even 100 units, even 50 units all on your own, where they're 100% ownership or even 50% ownership, than it is to have thousands of units. That the thing with syndication, and again going on a rant, but I think it's important. Thing with syndication is you're always turning and burning, right? You're raising this capital at whatever valuation it is, and in order to meet the returns you're promising your clients, your investors, you eventually have to sell in that 3 to 5 year time horizon to get that double digit return, that 13, 14, 15% IRR, whatever metrics you want to use to get that returns back to your investors. It's very rare you see a syndication where you can do a cash out refinance and still pay off your investors, and then you keep 100% equity for yourself. You just don't see. I think it's harder to find those deals.
Yeah, it's very hard to find those types of deals. Yeah, I raise money from a lot of loan, no money down multifamily I buy, and I keep them in there with me. I don't, when I refi, we don't set up a fund or anything. It's just a straight JV. I don't kick them out afterwards. Like they took a risk and put their money with me. So I want to keep them in the deal. So I don't kick anyone out afterwards after we execute the business plan or refi. We split the proceeds and we're 50-50 moving forward.
Beautiful. Yeah, well done. So take me from you bought that duplex in 2015, and how are you finding? You said a lot of the deals you source are off market. How are you doing anything for marketing that's either proprietary or anything different than like a postcard, mailer, word of mouth, text campaigns? Are you doing anything? What are you doing for marketing?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question everyone wants to know. It's all inbound, but I talk about that at the closers table, my community. I don't think that they would be too happy with me if I gave up the secret sauce,
All
unfortunately,
right.
though, because they pay me to teach them.
So talk to me about this community, the closest community. What is that?
The closers table. I started a community because everyone was always wondering down me, Morgan, how do you find these deals? Morgan, like teach me operations. I want to know. I want to know this. And it got to a point where there's so many people asking me to teach them, and so it's like, all right, I'll start a community. I'll start teaching this twice a week, but like obviously I'm extremely busy. I'm not going out and
Mhm.
teaching this stuff for free because it's worth millions of dollars. You find one of these deals that will change a life, and my time like is very important to me. So I decided to create a community where I teach twice a week about how to set up the proper funnels. So I script out what to say, how to say it, find those off market opportunities, video those calls, those conversations for my community members to see them. So like they literally get to see live, I mean, you can negotiate a 19 unit, $0 down, cash flowing day one, and just, different ways how we structure it, how we're actually getting paid to take that asset. So you get to see a lot of things like that, how we operate in 9 different states, my renovations, my contractors, my material manufacturers with like flooring where you're getting it 50% from, the big box stores. So I give less of my private money lenders away, literally lift up the hood on everything I do. Because I'm a firm believer, the more you give, the more it returns back.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's a little bit about it.
No, that's awesome. And then is this a paid kind of group that you host the community?
Yeah, yes. So
Yeah.
our membership to join it is 10K a year for it.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, you're definitely providing some heavy lifting value add material there that people in the grand scheme of things. To your point, if you can learn how to source these deals off market and put these low down loans, I mean, $10,000 is nothing compared to saving the hundreds of thousands of dollars that you would normally have to put down to finance these deals. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
yeah,
Like the
that,
value's like a 20x. You find one deal you're gonna make 5, 6, 7, 800K off of. What the hell's 10K? I'd gladly pay someone 10K to get me that.
yeah. Right now, our portfolio is primarily comprised of commercial property, but started off with a lot of seller finance, low down opportunities, and then have 1031 our way up. And we what we found was maybe it's similar to your community and what in the process you're doing is we found that we were coming across a lot of deals, but we couldn't take them all down ourselves. So we started actually wholesaling these deals out, and most recently started doing some novations, which are super interesting. But we use like Monday for kind of task management, and we have VAs. We use a company called Riva Global who kind of trains these virtual assistants in real estate calling in the lingo 1030. Maybe not 1031 exchange, but they can talk about a seller finance deal. We give them a script of kind of leading questions to ask, and then if it's a warm enough lead, it'll come back into our system. We'll have kind of like a local person follow up and call on that, set the appointment, go in, make the appointment. And what's kind of cool is that maybe it's different for some other wholesalers, and I'm sure a lot of wholesalers. Is that um, I'm a licensed agent, and I have other licensed agents here. So if it doesn't work for us to buy, we can offer it as a listing opportunity for them. So kind of like more than one way to skin a cat.
Absolutely.
What would you say your most creative deal has been since 2015? Whether it's putting no money down or most doors for as little as money as possible.
I mean, I put in multiple $0 down deals together. The way we structure them on the capital stack, like some of them are actually getting paid to take them. We had a 46 unit close 4 or 5 weeks ago. 20K down. The seller's holding a $1.1 million note at 0% interest. So I have a lot like that. I have another 47 unit coming up in 3 weeks that we're closing. That one's not as nice, but it's 120K down. So 100K more down. That seller's also carrying a $1.7 million note at 0% for 6 years. So we'll ride that out the whole way. What else? Got a 12 unit before for 55K. That's straight 55K. That's not 55K down. I got
You
18
bought it for
units before.
55,000.
Yeah, I got 18 units before for 70K. 70K total. That one was in Texas. Um, yeah,
I mean,
I have a lot like that.
are these super distressed properties that need a ton of value add work?
No, like that one, that 12 for 55K, like 4 or 5K in it, and it's good and ready.
But like, why would anyone in their right mind sell that to you for $55,000? I'm missing something here.
It's because you don't know what to say and how to say it and when to say it and your tonality.
That
Scripting it
is
out.
ins-
No, you just haven't uncovered that yet. That's the secret sauce.
I'll have to learn more about this community that you host, and we'll have to talk offline about it, and we'll certainly link all the information in the show notes afterwards. Are you taking on new clients, investors into the community?
Absolutely. Like I want to partner with everyone. I want to build out that community where there's a lot of members and I can partner with the members that are local to deals. That's the big value add, not getting 10K here, 10K there. The big values partnering with people on deals who are in the community where we're going to make millions, not, 10K here, 10K there.
Yeah, I agreed. Like a lot of people do courses or they're flippers or they're wholesalers, and it's really easy to flash like a high, check or, like, oh, I did $100,000 in my course last year, or I flipped, 20 properties and made, $1 million. So congratulations. All those things to me are like, um, you can become rich off that, but you'll never build wealth, true wealth, until you start owning real estate. And that's generational wealth. So I think that's a great point that you made is like you want to partner with people in the community, not you, obviously like you're building wealth with them, right? It's not just like you said a 10K check. It's you want to start owning property with them because that's generational.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not in this for the quick hits. Like I'm not a wholesaler. I would much rather raise the money from somewhere and keep the deal and keep it in house and give it out.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's the whole vision is to build a behemoth of a portfolio.
super. Yeah, it's awesome. So what's your I always ask people this, what's your day to day look like, from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed? Walk me through your day.
It depends on the day because I Mondays are usually pretty busy. So Mondays I try to structure all my property management calls. So that's where I'm setting out fires. Literally Monday, one of my apartment complexes caught fire. So
Oh
I was
damn.
dealing with that. I woke up to a text from my property manager with flames out the window video. So that was this past Monday. So I was dealing with that and then a mixture of all of our other asset management calls with our other team members. So I try to structure all that type of stuff on Mondays to recap from the previous week and then set the tone for the week moving forward. So I kind of have them siloed out different activities for different days throughout my week to group them together. Just while I'm in that headspace, it flows much easier. And then like Wednesdays, for example, I try to do book like podcasts, anything media, public relations, stuff like that on like those days. So I have them siloed out into buckets of my week when keeping and maintaining a flow state of mind, depending on the tasks or the meetings that are at hand, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you like to do outside of your kind of day-to-day work activities?
I mean, I like going to the gym, and I it gets me in a good headspace for the day, and um, being behind the desk a lot, it's a good mixer upper to get active and move the muscles around, maintain everything. But yeah, I like going to the gym, hitting the cigar lounge every now and then, but it's pretty much
Nice.
all I do. That and work.
And you're in St. Pete, so it's pretty nice year round. Very jealous about that. We, like you said, like we got hit with a ton of snow, and we got another snowstorm tonight. It's only I like it for skiing, but that's after that, like keep everything north of Connecticut.
Yeah, yeah.
I was actually just in Florida for twice actually in the last month for two different weddings, one in Key Biscayne, and then the other just past St. Pete in Sarasota, actually. So I actually just went through St. Pete.
Sarasota's
Love,
a nice
love, love.
area.
Yeah, it's nice. Siesta Key was really, really nice as well. But I love downtown St. Pete. That whole such a huge development down there. That pier with the bar, like the huge bar at the end. I think that's so
Tiki.
cool. Yeah, Tiki. That's it. Yep.
Yep. Yep. It's nice walking down there in the evenings, that's for sure.
So I'm curious. You talk about some of this. You invest in 9 states. Why did you pick those specific like 9 states? Are you it's just where the rest of your portfolio is, or is there a reason behind why those 9 states?
That's a great question. So I personally I look at a building, if it makes money, it's beautiful. Most people, you talk to, they have their buy box where they're so focused and centered on one particular market. It has to be, a 25 to 75 unit. It has to meet this criteria. I'm not that guy. I follow the numbers because at the end of the day, my firm's a for-profit business. So I follow the numbers first. If the numbers make sense for me to go there, set up resources, put my time, energy, and effort into it, create the wheel, then I evaluate the market as a secondary. So I look at it as I follow the numbers on the property. If it makes sense for me for the time, energy, and commitments I have to do uh, to get that up and going and operating, then I look at the market. So, like in these 9 markets, it's not essentially that I went out and pinpointed, oh, I want to be in this particular market in this state. No, I found a deal there. It was 55K for 12 units. The income's increasing, the population's increasing. It has, some of the hits checkbox, a lot of the check boxes that I look for. So that's how I go about it, because I see when people are so centered in a buy box, there's a ton of money floating outside of that buy box that they completely miss because they just look right past it. So that's my personal the way I go about it. I know it's very different from other people, but it's what works for me.
Yeah, so hypothetically speaking, if you found a deal in another one of the states, you wouldn't be scared to go into a 10th state if the deal made sense. You're not limited to those 9 states.
No, absolutely not. I mean,
Yeah.
I operate across the country now. Going to a 10th state is really no different. It's just some different variables. I have to recreate the wheel. It's not necessarily a challenge at all to me.
Yeah. And you're hiring, I assume, third party property management for all of your properties?
So we have both. We have third party and we have in house. But with
You
like
do, yeah.
the third party, I have a whole playbook, one expectations, how we want the properties ran, everything down into our renovations, down to the nail, down to the paint finish, whether it's a decking screw or a roofing nail, like everything is listed in our property management playbook. That we share with our property managers. One of the third party ones, anyway. The ones in house, we all operate off this centralized system. But even the third party managers, even though they're the boots on the ground and they're the quote unquote property managers, we are very involved every single week calls with them and steering the ship, not letting them do it, because at the end of the day, they know we're the ones that draw the line in the sand with where things are going.
And this playbook, these systems, are these all available to the people that are in, that kind of join you in the community, in the closers table?
Absolutely. Yep. Everyone gets
Yeah.
access to my playbook. Literally everything.
Nice. Well, Morgan, I really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy, so we'll stop it there. For all our listeners, we'll be sure to link everything in the show notes afterwards. How to your Instagram, Facebook, the community page, information about how to join. And again, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on all your success. And next time I'm in St. Pete, we'll have to link up, maybe at the tiki spot.
Absolutely. Let me know when you're in St. Pete. We'll definitely grab some drinks, the tiki spot, maybe hit the cigar lounge. But thanks for
Would love.
having me. Most definitely.
All right. Take care. Bye. Thank you for watching Sky's the Limit. We're always releasing new real estate content, so if there's something you want to hear, be sure to leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.